Hi, everyone, and welcome to another session of Wealth Unplugged Live. I'm Barbara Turley, founder of Energize Wealth and creator of the Wealth Success Map. And you're very welcome for joining me again today for another live Google Hangout. So over the last few weeks, as some of you who've joined me every week will know, we've been talking about the 10 wealth blocks for women. And today, I can't believe it, we're actually on the 10th one. We're on wealth block number 10. So today's topic is the wealth block of believing that money can't buy you happiness. I know it's an extremely controversial topic. And when I say this, you know, it absolutely polarizes people. So I know there's going to be some of you out there thinking, oh, she is so wrong, money can't buy you happiness, money can never buy you happiness. And then there's others of you out there thinking, I don't know about that. I'm not so sure. I think if I had more money, I would feel a bit happier. So over the last few weeks, we have covered everything from the wealth block of fear, the wealth block of trust, the wealth block of believing if I just had more money, I would manage it better, the overwhelming confusion we feel around money, and of course the big one, which is believing that money is the devil, that money is like the big bad wolf out there. So just a bit of housekeeping before we go on. If you have a question, if you have a comment or something that you want to say, then make sure that you put it into the chat roll as you think of it. Because if you wait till the end, what will happen is that you'll forget what you wanted to say. So I want all the comments and all the conversation, just dump it into the chat box as you think about it. And then later on in the session, when I finish saying my piece, I will address any of your questions. And of course, you can also comment later if you're watching the recording now. Please comment on Facebook. Let's get this conversation going over on Facebook. So wealth block number 10. So where did I come up with these wealth blocks? Number one, I didn't just make them up out of my own head. I actually went around and I interviewed a whole pile of women out there, entrepreneurs, investors, regular women, employees, doesn't matter. I asked all of you how you felt about money, wealth, investing, and business, and how those things made you feel. And I got overwhelming responses back, and I managed to see some patterns through all the responses, and I came up with these 10 major wealth blocks that I see women mainly having. Now today's one, you know, I've actually been a bit nervous coming up to today's one because it is so controversial, and I've discussed it with a few different people. I put it out on Facebook yesterday. I asked the question, money can't buy you happiness. What do you think about this statement? And I got very interesting responses, actually. I got most people coming back and saying, yeah, the I don't know camp, I'm not sure about that. You know, I got one woman said, I loved this particular comment. She said, money might not be able to buy you happiness, but it certainly buys you peace. And peace buys you happiness. And I loved that because I thought, you know, there's a connection that often we don't make. So let's look at why do people believe this? Where does this belief actually come from? Now, I would argue that, you know, it probably comes from rich people, because you very rarely hear poor people saying money can't buy you happiness. So I had a very interesting conversation last week with a woman called Bernie Bulger, who lives here in Sydney, and she's an Irish woman who lives here in Sydney. And she is a psychotherapist and mediation specialist, and she specializes in doing mediation and communication in wealthy families. So she's dealing with families who are in the hundreds, you know, like 30, 40, 100 million sort of type things. And her response was very interesting to this, because she said that what she's seeing a lot is that money actually can be the root of all of the problems that the family is having. And she even had one woman say to her recently, a very wealthy woman, say that she wished they had no money, because their children were suffering, you know, lots of problems based on kind of how wealthy they were, and all these host of problems come out. So in that context, it's very easy to say, oh, well, look at that. Money can't buy you happiness. Look at those people. They're miserable. Now, on the other side of the equation, I was also in Bali recently. Some of you who followed me for a while will know that I was in Bali, and I went and interviewed in my Feminine Wealth TV show. I interviewed a woman called Margaret Barry. And Margaret is the founder and CEO of the Bali Children Foundation. And I was talking to her about this concept of money and where it fits into the work that she's doing, because basically she's in the business of, well, her foundation is in the business of educating underprivileged children, disadvantaged children in Bali. So we talked about this money concept, and she said to me, she's dealing with families there that might be, they've loads of children, they've got absolutely no money, and they're living on $30 a month. I want to say that again, $30 a month. So basically what they have to do is, if they have a daughter who is of sexual age, let's say she's 12 or 13, they can probably triple their income by sending her into prostitution. So I'm sure that the family are not that happy about having to do that, and I'm sure the daughter is not that happy about having to do it either. But for them, it's like, well, as Margaret said to me, although this is like a curse in society, how can you turn around to that family and say to them, what you're doing is, I mean, it's wrong, but, they might get $80 a month then from her doing this job, and for the family, she's supporting an entire family. So in that context, I sort of think, they've got to do that for money, for survival. So, is money buying happiness there? Yes and no. So I think why this becomes a huge block, realistically, is that when, I think in society, we like to believe this concept because we sort of like to blame everything else for our plight in life. And a lot of the time we blame money on why we don't have what we want in life. But I would argue, and I often say to people, money is an interesting thing. It's a very, very, very powerful tool. It's right up there with love. Love is a very powerful tool we have in this world, and a very powerful emotion. Money is an extremely powerful tool that we have at our disposal. It's an energy. It's an energy just like anything else. And it gives you power. Money gives you power. Now, it's up to us as humans how we use that power. Now, when we have lots of money, if we choose to use that money for frivolous rubbish that makes us, leads to a fruitless life that has no purpose and no meaning, then of course we're going to end up unhappy. But I would argue that if we first, before we go out on this path, before we create wealth, before we get anywhere in life, if we focus all of our attention on, first of all, what is it that lights me up inside? What is it that I want to contribute to this world? What is my talent, and what is my, again, this word of purpose, I know that sort of drives people mad because they wonder, well, what is my purpose? But if we focus a lot on, what is it that I'm going to give back to this world? What is the function of me in this world? And then money can become an unbelievable tool for you to go out and create amazing change in this world, amazing businesses, amazing creativity, solutions. And that is actually what lights you up inside. But money can be an amazing, powerful fuel. And I call it your vision fuel. Now, when you act around money in this way, what ends up happening is, rather than you being here and money being here, so you working for money, and you're subordinated to money, I want you to think about, how do I raise myself above money? And how does money work for me to create the life that I want, to create the change and the impact that I want in life? And that is when money, I'm sorry to tell you, but money can buy you happiness in that particular situation. And I know there's ones of you out there who are going to be watching this, and even me saying that statement of money can buy you happiness, in the right scenario is going to, it's going to be like nails on a chalkboard for some of you, because your belief in this is so unbelievably strong. But when we have this belief, what we're actually doing is we're giving power. We're giving our own power away, and we're giving power and responsibility to money, when money is actually nothing. I've said it a few times on this hangout before. Money is nothing. It's nothing but an energy. And us attributing any sort of responsibility to it, or making statements like, money can't buy you happiness, money is evil, money is the root of all evil, rich people are greedy, all those sorts of things, you're actually giving your own power away. You're giving your own power away to something that is nothing. So like I said before, and actually I want to just, those of you who've read this book, so I had this discussion on my Feminine Wealth TV show a few months ago. I had Fiona Cosgrove, who runs a company called Wellness Coaching Australia, and she's into the whole wellness field. And we had this discussion around the connection between wellness and wealth. And we both talked about this book. Any of you have read, I'll just show you there, Gretchen Rubin's book, The Happiness Project, which is a New York Times best-selling book. And she basically did a whole year where she wanted to discover, you know, what are the things that make us happy. She wanted to just get to the root of what is it that makes people happy. And there is actually a whole chapter in the book on money. And again, this polarizing subject, and she couldn't get to the bottom of, like, you know, what is it about money that does it make us happy? Can it buy us happiness? But she did come to the conclusion in the end that there is a certain amount of money that does buy us happiness. And it's like what what some of you on Facebook said yesterday. You know, it buys us peace of mind. It buys us, it gets rid of stress. You know, if you have financial strain and you're in debt, and we've all felt like that, and you feel, this is what you feel like, you know, when you've got no money. And that definitely makes you feel very unhappy. I'm sure that mother in Bali who's sending her daughter down to be a prostitute doesn't exactly feel happy about it. But she's doing it for the money, because the money can bring the family as a whole a better sense of happiness. And that's the trade-off. So I would definitely encourage you to just, I want you to think about this wealth block. It is a block when you say to yourself, money can't buy you happiness, because you sort of put money in this light of being the big bad wolf. And then what happens is you say to yourself, well, money can't buy me happiness, therefore I don't want any of that. Or it's okay that I'm not making any. Or it's okay that I'm not focusing on it, that I'm not giving it any attention. But like I always say, you know, if you think about money as a friend, or money that's one of your closest friends, it's a colleague, it's an employee in your business. If you treated a friend, a colleague, a family member, or an employee in your business with the same type of disdain that we often treat money, what kind of results would you expect to get from them? Would you expect them to actually help you? Would you expect them to show up for you? So again, it's just, I want you, it's a mindset shift, and I want you to change this perception that potentially you have around money, because it is blocking. It's blocking your ability to interact with money in a positive way. So that is what I would say for today. So I'm just going to check and see if we have any questions. So if you have any questions, you can just drop it right into the chat roll below. So we had some questions yesterday on Facebook as well. So I just want to have a look there. Some comments we had on Facebook. Actually, we had a very interesting one, which was from a man, which we do encourage men to also comment, but you ladies out there will see the difference with this one. So he says, when I said, what do you think about this money can't buy you happiness thing? He goes, let me see. Well, it can buy you a boat, it can buy you a lake house and a nice truck, and it can help anyone that you want. Sounds like some happy things to me. So at least he put in at the end there, I agree with him. It can help you help others. It can give you power to contribute, and it's up to you. You have the power to decide in what way are you going to harness money to actually give back to this world. So I know that lots of you out there love to give. You want to contribute. You feel your businesses are, you know, the major contribution to this world. And I would encourage you to believe that if you harness money in the right way, then honestly, the money that you're making and the money that you have the potential to make can buy happiness for a lot of people around this world. And I know that Margaret Barry over at the Bali Children Foundation would certainly love to see some of the money that you have, so that she can buy some happiness for some kids over there, and you can really contribute to that. So that's the topic for today. So again, if you're watching the recording, please jump on Facebook and let's continue the conversation over there. You can find me on Facebook at Energize Wealth. Also on Twitter. We're on Instagram, we're everywhere. Google+, the whole lot. Also, if you are interested in taking this journey a little bit further, and you feel that you're ready now to take the next step up and to really start getting savvy with money, you're getting rid of these blocks and you want to get on the path to really improving your financial life and taking that next step up, particularly if you're a business owner, then I want you to head over to wealthsuccessmap.com, because over there I've created a seven-step map for you, where you can get the map, you can find out the steps you need to take in the right order and at what time that you need to take them to get you on the path to sustainable, stress-free wealth without the overwhelm and remaining totally authentic to you and your soul. So wealthsuccessmap.com, head on over there and pick up your wealth success map. And be sure to let me know in the comments over on my blog or on Facebook. Let me know how you feel about it after you see the map and you get the training attached to the map. Okay, so that's the end of the Wealth Block series. We've had 10 weeks of this. They're all available on my blog if you missed any of them. But next week, we're going to step it up a bit. And I'm going to do a serious Google Hangout next week, a big one. And we're going to talk about the difference between regular money and rock star money. So making both of those, making regular money or making rock star money, and what you can do with your rock star money. So be sure to check in then. And until then, have a great week and keep in touch on Facebook. See you.